What's up, everybody? It's me, JJ. I miss you guys. It's been a whole week, but I am back and I'm going to share some knowledge that can hopefully help you take your health and fitness journey to the next level. Now, today I wanted to dig a little bit deeper into the training side of things. So we've talked about diet, I've done a full day of eating, I've talked about why I follow flexible dieting, things of that nature. I wanted to delve more into the training side of things and talk about the evolution of training. What do I mean by that? So you come in as a beginner, you go to the gym. I know, at least for myself, I was all over the place. Programming did not exist really, right? So step one in the evolution of your training is to simply go in with a plan. Are you going in to A, do cardio, or B, do resistance training? That's the first step, because I know for some clients it needs to start there. They might go in and maybe do a stationary bike and then maybe some machines, but there's no real agenda. So go in with a goal. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do 30 minutes of cardio. I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna do cardio until I burn X amount of calories. I'm gonna go in and I'm going to resistance train until the end goal is met, whatever that goal may be. So that's the first step. You need to go in with at least some form of plan and a plan of attack to know which type of workout really that you're gonna do. From there, let's go a little bit deeper into the resistance training, because we've talked about cardio in the past, but as far as resistance training goes, what are we going to train when we go in, right? Are we going upper body, lower body? If we're splitting it up, if we're talking about specificity, and it's a great variable to have to play with, is the specificity of your training. So for myself, I follow more of a bro split, and my particular goal is hypertrophy. And so I have on Mondays arms, on Tuesday I rest, Wednesday I have chest, Thursday I have legs, Friday I have back, Saturday I rest again, Sunday I have shoulders, right? So there's particular body parts that I'm going in, and that is on my agenda. I'm going to do specific exercises for those body parts, and that's another step deeper. But if you go in at least knowing I'm gonna do chest, right? You go in, there's a pec deck machine, cool, let's do that. There's a chest press, cool, let's do that. There's the incline free bar bench press, let's do that, right? You know you're hitting chest, you're gonna do chest exercises. So that's the next step. You went from A, knowing I'm going in for resistance training, to now you're at level B, which is resistance training, I'm going to do chest exercises. The next level in the evolution of your training, harping on that specificity, right, is going to be what specific exercises are you going to select. And so, like I talked about, there's the pec deck. There is a dumbbell fly, a dumbbell press, incline press, decline press. There's all these variables that you can manipulate, right? All these different exercises, and there's two heads to the pectoral muscle. Obviously, we can get into anatomy in a later video where we dive in a little bit deeper into each body part, but which of those exercises are you going to do in your workout? So you can go in and say, today I'm gonna do the pec deck, I'm gonna do an incline dumbbell bench, a regular dumbbell fly, and a cable fly superset with push-ups for my finisher, right? So you know you're gonna do that. And I said finisher, I'm getting ahead of myself. But you go in, regardless of what the order is, whatever's available, you do it, right? So the next step to that is how many sets, how many reps, intended rep ranges. If your goal is strength, I would say work in the 3 to 5. If it's hypertrophy, work 6 to 8 for compound exercises, and then 8 to maybe 15 even on the higher end for your metabolic sets. And my clients know the way I structure my workouts. There's different purposes for each, right? But that's just another step deeper is how many sets of each exercise And where specifically in your workouts are you placing those? For a majority of my clients that are in an actual gym working towards building their strength, I have those compound exercises towards the beginning of the workout. I'll have them have a warm-up. There'll be one exercise that's going to be a few straight sets to get some blood into the muscle, to prime the muscle. I call it the prime movement. And then you're right into your compounds, your strength lifts. Getting lower in reps, lower in sets, just a couple working sets to really work that strength, right? Load that muscle, get that muscle and all those fibers firing with that prime movement. Then you're into that larger load with those compound exercises next. That's just my personal preference. Some people will say do all your isolations first. Some people will say do all your compounds first, then your isolations. There is research basically stating that yes, they're all good. It's just going to depend on your personal goals. But you can see how it evolves, that evolution of training. So you got to go in with that plan. From that plan, you got to say, okay, it gets deeper than that. Your plan is going to be not only going in for resistance training, you're going to be splitting it whether today I'm hitting lower body or upper body. And as specificity increases, the more dynamic your training can be and the more regimented you can be based on goals. I know some people, if you're training 4 times a week, some people do upper lower rest, things like that. It's all based on your goal, how frequently you're training, and basically what you enjoy too. Because as far as exercise selection goes, if you cannot connect with the muscle, say for chest, we're going back to that chest example. If you can't do a dumbbell fly, if in that dumbbell fly you're feeling it all in your front delt, that anterior delt, why are you going to use that movement? That's not a good exercise for you to select for your chest. If you feel it more in a cable or in other pressing motions or things like that, lighter loads, do whatever feels best for you. And the clients I work with, they know after a week, if they tell me they're not feeling something, we're going to switch that movement. We're not going to leave that movement in there if it's not getting the max benefit for you, right? But I will throw in one caveat. You go in with a plan, you're going to say, okay, I'm going to do incline barbell chest press, bench, and in that, I'm going to do 3 sets of 8 to 12. You say, okay, well, last week I got 185 for 10, so this week I'm going to do 185. I'm banging them out, boom, 9, boom, 10, smooth, I rack it, right? I could have probably done more. I had extra reps in the tank, but I knew I did 10 last week. I came here to do 8 to 12, 10's right in the middle, and that's what it's going to be. You don't want to fall into that habit. I'm victim. I fell victim to that when I was at UCSB going to the Rexen. I had my workouts okay, 4 sets of 12, boom, got in, do it, same weight every week. There's no progression. The reason why we want that specificity is so you can track the progression. We want to keep a consistent exercise in there for a certain amount of time for that microcycle, so we can see how you progress. If you're not building the strength, then something's going wrong, right? If the goal is to build strength and to build muscle mass, if the goal is to decrease body fat, if we have you in a caloric deficit, our goal is going to be to maintain that strength, right? Maintain that lean muscle tissue. But if we're in a caloric surplus, we want to be building that strength. So if the strength's not going up, we need to reevaluate something, right? So always know, have that plan, say it's 8 to 12, but on some days, if you can take that 13th, if you can take that 14th rep, take it. Don't fall victim to the confines of the rep range. Like, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do. The weight's on there, I'm gonna do my set, right? For myself, I'll count that as another warm-up set. I'll stop if I'm on my 8th rep and I know I can easily get that 12, I'm gonna rack it on 8 and chalk it up to another warm-up set, add the weight, add the resistance, then get it to where I'm failing on that 9th rep, right? So that was just a caveat, because the reason why we have the specificity is to track that progression. I'm not saying structure's bad. Structure's great. It's how we're gonna track the progress that we're looking to achieve, right? You're gonna be doing the same lifts in the same order, same rep scheme, shooting for a certain number, but you're just going to be increasing it, then increasing the weight to stay within that range, but still chasing progression in every workout. It's progressive overload. It's a concept I'm going to dive into in another video down the line. dig a little bit deeper into progressive overload, different types of training to achieve that progressive overload, right? Structure is not the enemy. It's just finding the right structure for you and not falling victim to like not giving it your all, not taking those reps that you have just because you're content because you fell within your rep scheme, right? So that's what I'm getting at. That's the caveat that I have. Remember, it's an evolution to your training. If right now you're going to the gym only knowing that you're going in for resistance training without really having any plan, the way you're going to maximize that training is to add specificity. There's levels to it, right? You're not going to go from going in only knowing you're going for resistance training to the next day having a fully structured posterior chain workout, chasing personal bests in every lift when you probably don't even know your personal best to begin with. So you need to create that baseline, slowly but surely adding the specificity, finding the exercises that work best for you in order to progress within them and create the hypertrophy, create the muscle growth. First of all, create the muscle tearing in the gym, have that nutrition on the back end that's going to help you progress within that and fuel you for that progression that you're looking to achieve. Another thing that I wanted to touch on is muscle gain and strength. A lot of people want to put a divide between the two. There's a lot of things I've seen on forums. How can I gain strength without gaining size, right? And so a lot of people think in order to gain strength, you have to be eating everything in sight. A lot of powerlifters get a bad rap because some of the best ones are round in shape, right? And so there is that divide in the middle, and some people are chasing, want to say like a bodybuilder-esque or a more cut physique, and they feel that they can't build strength at the same time. They feel that there's a divide, and I want to say that they're not absolutely not mutually exclusive, right? They're not mutually dependent by any means, but they're not mutually exclusive. You can have both, and you should have both. And the reason being is that larger muscles have a greater capacity for work output, work and force, that is. So the larger your muscles are, the more capable you are of building that strength. The more you tear those fibers, build them up, the more fibers you'll have that are able to fire, because strength in large part is due to the neuromuscular connectivity that you have. So the more you progress in those lifts, the more you do those lifts, the more in tune your mind-muscle connection, as they say, is, the more strength you can build. And if you have the nutrition backing that, right, if you're eating in that caloric surplus, you'll be able to build those muscles. As they're torn in the gym, you'll be able to repair them, grow them, and the larger muscles have the greater capacity for that force and work output. So larger muscles should equate to more strength in the gym if you are training properly. Remember, it's 100% nutrition and 100% training, right? It's not 50-50 because you got to give it all you have in both aspects. Along with that, if you are getting bigger, right? If your goal is hypertrophy, you're getting bigger but you're not getting stronger, and you feel that your training is on point, the likelihood is you're mainly adding adipose or fat tissue that's unnecessary. As you add muscle tissue, you should be getting stronger in the gym. That's what I stand by. There's a lot of research behind that, and I'll link some below. But I was taught, and my coach that I had and that prepped me for my show was a large proponent of, in my growth season, a season similar to that I have right now, as you grow, you need to be getting stronger. It's a sign that those muscles are getting larger, that you do have more capacity for that strength to increase. And so for all of my clients that are looking for those strength gains, the way to do it is to increase that muscle mass. In conclusion, to truly get 100% out of your training, you need to apply the specificity principle, right? You can't go in, meander through the gym saying this looks good, that looks good, I'm gonna do it. I got a good sweat in and that's good enough, right? If you want to maximize the time you have, maximize your potential, your output, and your results, honestly, you go in with that plan. Again, it doesn't happen overnight. I'm not saying go in, follow a perfect 5-day split, regimented with exercises, and have a logbook by tomorrow if you're going in not knowing what to do right now. If you need help, that's literally what I'm here for. I'd love to help, but there's plenty of resources out there for you if you'd like to do it on your own and you didn't want an expert opinion. But I will say, and nearly all people in my profession would say, going in with the plan is definitely the first step to taking strides towards improving your health and fitness journey and taking it to that next level. There's no elite athletes, there's no elite physiques other than those absolutely genetically blessed that are going into a gym without a plan, without structure. I had one caveat in saying that don't fall victim to the structure and sell yourself short, but structure is paramount. Progressive overload is key to building. Even in your cutting phases, progressive overload is key in maintaining that muscle mass. I'll get into that again, like I said, in another video, a little bit deeper into the progressive overload principle. But the one that I wanted to talk about today, the main topic is the word I was looking for of this video, was specificity. How to go into the gym with a plan, with an objective, how to execute it to maximize your results. I hope you enjoyed it. This little video called the evolution of your training. No matter what stage you are in currently, I would love to help you get to the next one and continually progress to the point where you are elite at whatever you may be wanting to achieve. So I'll throw the link down below if you want to contact me, any coaching inquiries. I'll also throw a link to my personal Instagram, Facebooks, things like that down below so you can check out how I currently I'm applying the principle of specificity and progressive overload in my own training to help me progress through my growth season. Hope you enjoyed the content. Hope that a little bit of knowledge that I shared can help you in your progression, and I'll see you all next week.